Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, for the past 11 years, I've spent all my time traveling different countries such as Egypt, Gambia, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and now here where I am in Mauritania in search of one thing, and that's knowledge for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all this time, I have people asking me over and over and over again, Mu'adh, where's the best place to go to seek knowledge? How do I seek knowledge? Where do I start? What's the path? So in this video, I want to lay out to you the path of seeking knowledge so that you can have more clarity and know where you're going to take your first step and know what's ahead of you, inshallah. So let's get started in this video. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So before we get into the actual path of seeking knowledge, what books to study, what sciences to study, in what order, how long it's going to take, we need to talk about that which comes before it, and that's your intention. And your intention is the most important thing, because if you don't have the right intention, then everything you do, not only will you not get rewarded for it in the akhirah, but it can be used against you and be a means of your punishment. So the ulama state that a talibul ilm, a student of knowledge, his intention, his niyyah for seeking knowledge should be four things. The first is to raise ignorance from yourself. So you want to learn the sciences of Islam. You want to learn what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to do, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to stay away from, what He wants you to believe, what He doesn't want you to believe. You have to understand what tawheed is first and foremost properly so that you can actualize it, and what shirk is so you could stay away from it. And this is the first step, because the second intention, which is acting upon knowledge, is contingent upon the first step, raising ignorance from yourself, because you can only act upon something that you know. So first we want to learn, we want to understand what Islam is conceptually, and then we want to strive and have the intention to act upon that knowledge. And this is the biggest problem that I've found in my years of seeking ilm, that most students of knowledge are, so much striving to raise ignorance from themselves, to memorize more books, to understand more, to memorize the next ahadith. But acting upon knowledge becomes near unexistent. And acting upon knowledge is what's actually going to bring a tangible difference to this ummah. It's what's going to move ourselves forward. It's what's going to transform you from your current situation to your desired situation. So I can't stress enough how important it is for you to have that intention of acting upon your knowledge, even if it comes at the expense of learning things faster. You want there to be a correlation between your knowledge and your action. You want to learn something and you want to implement it. And after we focused on that, and we've worked on ourselves and we've understood more about Islam and acted upon that knowledge, now we want to be a light for others. We want to have the intention to raise ignorance from others. And this is essentially da'wah. So we can do da'wah in many ways. You can, speaking to your family members, just your akhlaq, your mannerisms, being in accordance with Islam, acting upon the knowledge that you have in front of others is da'wah. You can write a book if you're qualified to, many different things. If you have the intention to raise ignorance from others and you have the guidance of your mashaykh, you're going to see how they have done it, and you're going to be creative enough to think about different ways you could actualize that as well. And the fourth intention is to protect the sharia. We want to protect the sharia first and foremost from its message being abandoned from us, from within the Muslimin. We don't want to abandon the message of the Sharia. So us seeking knowledge, uh, we should have the intention that we are protecting this deen by upholding it, by continuing the tradition that our ulama have started years and years and years ago, by continuously learning this deen. And then also we want to protect the Sharia from infiltrators, from the enemies of Islam. We want to write books and refutations and whatever we can in accordance with Islamic knowledge to go and refute modern day ideologies and things in which contradict the Sharia. So this intention you need to have before going about seeking knowledge, and you need to continue as you seek knowledge. And this is one of the hardest things to do. It's going to take consistent, you know, you consistently reminding yourself. You need to consistently be aware of your intention and be aware if your intention changes and, you know, your seeking of knowledge can become something for the dunya. Seen many, many, many students, you know, feel like them studying in a university in Saudi Arabia after they've realized it wasn't the best path for them to seek knowledge. They continue doing it because they start thinking about how am I going to get a job when I get back home and things of that nature. So your intention is the first thing we want to get down. After we've got our intention down, we want to start doing two things. Either one of these two things, if you can't focus on two, or two things together. And that's memorizing the Quran and getting down your conversational Arabic. Now, our Quran memorization, the ulama, you know, for many, many years have started with this, and their children have memorized the Quran from an early age. And this is going to get the foundation of the Sharia in your heart. It's going to have all of, you know, the evidences from from the Quran in your heart and ready. This is going to be one of the best things which transforms you spiritually and gets you primed to be able to seek knowledge seriously. And as well, we need to get our conversational Arabic down. We want to be able to take instruction in Arabic. We want to be able to sit in front of our mashaykh, in front of our teachers, and understand what they're saying. We want to be able to convey our questions, our concerns, our things that we don't understand, and be able to have a conversation with them so that we can learn. So this is essentially a prerequisite to being able to seriously learn. If you get your conversational Arabic down, then now the all of the Muslim countries and, you know, the durus of all of the mashayikh are open to you. And the best place I found to get these two things down is going to be in Egypt. By far the best place. Not only me, countless tulab al-ilm that I've spoken to have found that Egypt has been the best place. Now, I'm in Mauritania right now, and Mauritania is good for Quran memorization uh, uh, upon the riwayah of Warsh, okay? But in terms of tajweed, it's not the best place for that. It's something maybe you'll want to go to after you've completed your Quran memorization in Hafs and with proper tajweed. And then you can come to Mauritania to do Warsh, and you'll already have the rules of tajweed and be able to implement them, because a lot of the times you're not going to get that from your teacher, from your sheikh here in Mauritania. And there's also conversational Arabic. For example, here in Mauritania, I haven't found any conversational Arabic institutes. In Egypt, they are plenty. There's many different places you can go to learn Arabic, and from beginning to end, they usually are less than 2 years. And again, Quran memorization in Egypt, Egypt is the land of the Quran. You're going to find the best yani, qurra there, the best reciters. You're going to find all of the matun you need, whether that's in tajweed, al-qira'at, a science called al-waqf wal-ibtida, where to properly stop your recitation at, in the middle of an ayat, at the end of an ayat, where to restart your recitation at, and all the different Quranic sciences. You can get these both in Egypt. And ideally, if you're focused, it should take you 2 years. Maybe a little less, maybe a little longer, but 2 years is a good, you know, goal to set for yourself. Okay? Now, after you've memorized the Quran and gotten your conversational Arabic down, what now? Now, let's first and foremost talk about what the goal is with seeking knowledge. Let's backtrack a little, reverse engineer it. So we want to study what are called the ulum al-ghaya. That's our goal. We want to study the Quran, and we want to study the Sunnah. Now, ulum al-ghaya is basically the sciences which are an ends in and of themselves. You're studying these sciences for the sake of its implementation. This is what you're striving to, implement. You want to understand what in the Quran Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told you to do, what Allah told you to stay away from, what He told you to believe, subhanahu wa ta'ala, as well in the Sunnah. This is why these sciences are called ulum al-ghaya. Al-ghaya is an ends. Now, from the Quran and Sunnah, the ulama have extracted into books and codified different sciences and organize them into different topics to be able to facilitate the learning of them in an organized way. So we have different books of ahadith. We have books of ahadith which just extract from the Sunnah the ahadith on, for example, akhlaq and proper mannerisms. We have ahadith, books of ahadith, which just focus on the rulings of jihad, for example, and many different books of hadith. Then we have Tawheed, and also we have Aqidah, which are extracted from the Quran and Sunnah. So we have books and mutun, concise texts, which have codified this for a student of knowledge. We have fiqh. Fiqh is the science of the actions of the slave of Allah and their rulings. Is an action wajib? Do you get rewarded for doing it? And do you tastahiq, yani are you deserving of a punishment for not doing it? Is something haram? Do you get punished? Do you deserve a punishment for doing it and you get rewarded from staying away from it? Is it mustahab? Do you get rewarded for doing it, but there's nothing upon you if you don't do it? And so on. This is the science of fiqh. So these have been, according to the different madhahib, al-madhhab al-shafi'i wal-maliki wal-hanbali wal-hanafi, codified in different books and organized according to topic. And then we have tafsir, which is the explanation of the Quran. And in tafsir, the ulama are going to come with different ayat along with different, you know, ahadith from the Sunnah explaining those ayat, different athar and sayings from the Salaf, and so on. This is our goal. This is what we want to do. We want to learn this and we want to implement it. But this is going to take, if you're going to fully engulf yourself in the Quran and Sunnah, not only is it going to take a long time, but this is a ghaya. We have also what's called the ulum al-ala. Ulum al-ala are a means to an end. They are sciences which are meant to help you and aid you and facilitate your understanding of the Quran and Sunnah. So if this is a means to an end, this is the end in and of itself, then it would only make sense to study this first. But the thing is that, the ulum al-ala, which from it is an-nahu, from it is mustalah al-hadith, from it is sarf, Arabic grammar, the language of, the mashayikh of hadith when grading a hadith and when talking about them, sarf, which is Arabic morphology. These things, and there's many more ulum al-ala, are going to take a very long time to study in full, about 5 to 10 years. And the ulum al-ghaya, you want to study until death. You want to spend your life going and really focusing on them and, you know, making yourself better as a Muslim by implementing the Quran and Sunnah and studying their sciences. So what I first recommend doing is going and studying a concise text in, some of the ulum al-ghaya, which it's not going to take a long time to do. So what's this going to do? This is going to give you that in what you need in order to make sure that your Islam is correct and you have what you need to act upon the Sharia as you go through this journey of studying the ulum al-alat. So now I suggest, after you've learned, and you could actually even do it before it in your own language, but I suggest doing it after you've studied conversational Arabic, unless you're at a point where you absolutely know nothing about Islam, you know nothing about Tawheed, then I would do this first and foremost. But if have listened to some lectures and your Islam is correct and you know what's halal and what's haram, then I would focus on conversational Arabic and then Quran memorization. And when you finish that, study a concise text, one in Aqidah, one in Fiqh, one in Hadith, and I would study the tafsir of Juz Amma. So this is going to give you what you need in order to act upon as you go through this long journey of studying the ulum al-alat. And to study the ulum al-alat, I would find a traditional curriculum. You know, a traditional curriculum is one in which is going to take you through the sciences from beginning to the end with an isnad, either one-on-one with your sheikh or in a small group. This is extremely important because the most benefit that I have gained from my studies, in Turkey, studying the Kurdish tradition, is me studying one-on-one with my sheikh, him going and telling me, okay, go and get the dictionary, and showing me how to do my research in the dictionary. Me watching him solve problems with sentences in real time, live, and understanding how he thinks, him training me and knowing, okay, he's ready now to start learning how to read manuscripts. Go and get this manuscript. No, if we're going to start this book, uh, I suggest you go and get this copy. Everything is tailored to you, and he's watching you and bringing you along the path. So I will find a traditional curriculum, whether that's in Mauritania, whether that's in Turkey, or whether that's elsewhere, and I would study it in full. Now, this is going to take about 5 to 10 years. Now, this 5 to 10 years is including what the traditional curriculum is going to give you with these ulum al-ghayat, with the ulum al-ghaya also. Okay? And one thing I want to note is I've seen tulab al-ilm in these traditional curriculums, especially in Turkey, they've made the alat ghayat. So they go and they study nahu, and they study it over and over, book after book after book, and it becomes like they're studying nahu, Arabic grammar, for for itself, in and of itself. It no longer becomes a means to understand the Quran and Sunnah. So they go and spend their lives studying these sciences and never end up studying the Quran and Sunnah. So we need to stay away from that. This is a means. This is the goal. Okay, so after you've studied the ulum al-ala, you're going to study the ulum al-ghaya, most likely in your traditional curriculum. And then after you've finished that and you've given yourself the foundations you need as a talib al-ilm, your focus is going to want to be upon the ulum al-ghaya. And you're going to want to do that until death, for the rest of your life. And, you know, I've seen that there's not one place which has everything. Maybe you'll study in a traditional curriculum and they're missing a science. So, for example, in Turkey, our tradition, it does not teach you Rasm al-Mushaf, you know, which is something which is studied here in Mauritania. Okay, after you complete this all, now you can go and look where are the places you need to go and study and get individual sciences or individual books, and you could travel to this place or to this place or to this place. But after you've given yourself the foundation you've needed, you've memorized the Quran, you're conversational in Arabic, so now you're ready to take instruction. You've studied primer, in each of these different, ulum al-ghaya, in each of these, and you've studied your ulum al-alat, you're going to want to dedicate your life to the ulum al-ghaya as as a priority. Take it as a priority. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us to worship Him. وَمَا خَلَقَتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And I didn't create jinn and mankind except to worship me. So if you want to start your path, then what I suggest you do is you reach out to any brothers that you know who have studied in Egypt and ask them where is the best place or the best resources they know to memorize the Quran, the best marakis, the best institutions to learn conversational Arabic, where to live, and get that all sorted out. And if you need help navigating this journey, then we have a community called Madrasa X, and it's a community of like-minded brothers who are all striving for the same thing, and that's excellence in the deen, the dunya. So inside it, we're going to give you from our experiences and where are the best places to go and help you navigate this journey. We're going to teach you how to generate remote wealth, not to live that fancy Dubai lifestyle, no, but so that you can use it for things like this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you're interested in that, then click the link below. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.